First things first, let's rip this nasty old carpet out. This carpet was stapled down tight. It was not easy to pull up, so I enlisted the help of a friend of mine who would not let me get him on camera, but let's just say he had some very strong man hands, and he sure did the job for me. Even he was using some vice grips and pliers to grip that carpet and rip it up. We used a 5-in-1 to help pull up the carpet padding, which was loaded with staples. So then we had to follow with some dikes, which we gripped and rolled off the staples. You can't just pull, you kind of roll it and they pop right out. After the staples are removed, we need to address those tack strips, which really holds that carpet down snug and tight. We're using a crowbar and a hammer, and you just want to make sure that crowbar is wedged under each nail. If you go between the nails, you're going to split that wood. Another thing worth noting, if you don't do the staples first, they do get in the way of that crowbar. And we found that out the hard way. So we're going to sweep down all the steps with a broom and then a brush to do a final micro brushing and get all the debris off. Pull up any staples that you might have missed, and then we're going to grout all the seams because there was a gap. And yes, I use my finger to smooth that bead out. Works best for me. So I'm going to wipe down each step with a wet cloth, and this is to just make sure I get all the little dust particles off. And again, keep finding these little hidden staples everywhere. So keep those dikes handy. We are ready to paint. I'm going to paint each step my base coat to my faux finishing and those side moldings because I want them all to look like a nice, deep, rich walnut. I'm using a paint and primer in one. This color is equal to the color of peanut butter. So I wanted it to be really walnutty and not have a hint of red in it. When that dries, I move on to the risers. Now I want my risers to look like a patinaed copper. So I'm starting with what looks like a Spanish copper. This technically is a metallic paint, which is a bronze. This is my first coat. And yes, I am going right over that rough particle board. So next, when that dries, I'm coming in with, this is my patina. All it is a turquoisey paint. And I'm sponging it in because I don't want it solid. I want it really heavy in the corners, the way copper would age with weather and time and whatnot. And that is my second layer. It doesn't look right yet, but that's okay, because now the final coat is going to be a pure, rich, brilliant copper, and I am just going to surface paint it, meaning I'm not going to completely coat it to where it fills in the creases. I'm just lightly brushing over all the reliefed areas, because I do want some of that bronzy, which does look like Spanish copper, coming through. I do want the turquoise coming through, but I want to blend it all together so it just looks like it naturally aged. Now I know I was taking a chance painting right on this rough, splintery particle board, but I'm doing this on the cheap. So I thought, well, why not? I'm just going to go for it. I have a vision and I think it'll work. And you know, it really did. If I get sick of it, well, I can change it up, put something else on there, some kind of facade. But for now, this worked, and I'm happy with it. Now it's time for the faux wood graining. I switched from latex to oil base. I mixed my oil base gel stain with a sealant. So it's really durable, and that luminosity really makes it look like a rich walnut, a real wood. Reason I am doing every other step, you can see the piece of tape. That's so I don't get confused. I did every other step, let it dry, and then I put a piece of tape on it so I know which step to step on when I need to access my upstairs. And I'm now doing the alternate steps. I have a video specifically for wood graining technique, so please refer to that to see the details of how I am achieving this wood grain. We're several days into this now. It took a few days to get those alternate steps to dry, again because I switched to that alkyd base, but it needs a little extra. So I'm going to do some decoratives on my platform steps. Now you will notice that I'm going right on again that rough wood. I'm doing it on the cheap. I figure if it doesn't work out, I can lay something over it, some type of Luan or something. But for now, I'm going to deter from that rough wood with some pretty decoratives. So I burned my stencil. You can just purchase any stencil you like. The first step was making sure all my corners were filled with that turquoise. And I'm skipping that Spanish copper look, which was the bronze, and I'm going right to my brilliant copper. With the walnut base of these platforms here, the underlaying color, I just didn't feel the need to get that deep bronzy color on. You'll notice that the cap on that newel post right there, I gave it that beautiful copper patinaed finish just for an added touch. Also worth noting, I brought the walnut finish up on the railings and the newel post, all the side molding. The spindles were already painted an iron black, so I now have a stylized, polished off, rich, beautiful stairwell.